Hey, you made it. Today I'm going to be talking about movie reviewers and specifically the ones on YouTube because it feels a lot of the time these days that they're not actually reviewing the film at all for the first half of it. They're just giving you a plot synopsis and a breakdown of what happens in the film.
Anyway, I don't want to have to waste any more time talking about this than I have to, so without further ado...
Which, if you're watching a review, I don't really know why you need to know the synopsis of it because surely either you've already seen it or you want to see it and don't want the whole thing spoiled. I seem to get this feeling a lot when I'm looking at these reviewers because I just don't understand. I can't see the logic. I can't understand why you'd want to watch it because, yeah, I've made reviews myself where it ruins the film. Okay, it ruins the film of the TV show. Yeah, that makes sense. But that's for people that have already seen it. If you haven't seen the film or TV show and you want to watch a review of it, fair enough. But why are you watching a spoiler review of it? Why do you need someone to spell out the entire plot synopsis for it with very little effort to change it whatsoever, whilst some flashing images of the film that are just looped versions of the trailer are up on screen? I don't really understand why that's important. And by the time you've been sucked in by the flashing images and them talking about the plot of the film you've either already watched or you didn't ask for, you're already far enough into it where you don't really want to click off and you kind of just want to know what they actually think of it, which is usually very little added on, and it's just kind of surface level stuff. If you're going to break down the plot, at least give some sort of analysis of the plot, not just say the plot is bad and this is what happens in its entirety, because it's just really lazy, and also it fills out watch time. It just pads it out with filler that is just of no use to anyone. If you want to know what the plot is about, why don't you just read it? It takes 5 seconds to read what the plot's about. Usually it's one sentence, but no, you have to have 2 minutes of them being and then this happened, and then this happened, but surprise, surprise, this happened. Maybe they'll change the names of some of the characters to something that's really not funny at all, just to try and give that quirky twist on it or to rage bait some comments, but overall it's just a waste of time. I try to refrain from doing this in my own reviews because I just do not see the point. For me, if I'm watching a review, on YouTube anyway, I've already seen the film or TV show, because the reviews spoil everything about it. What's the point in going in to watch a TV show when you've already know everything that's happened in it, everything that is bad about it, in their opinion? And it already kind of gives you that predetermined, I don't like this show going into it because my favourite reviewer said it's bad. I've kind of touched on this a few times on this channel, but there's just so much of it that just irritates me in general about this style of review. It's not just one creator, there are lots of creators that do this, and I just don't understand why, other than to just pad the watch time out. And it kind of sucks people in because you know the story, you already have watched the film, or you know what the story is about, and that kind of intrigues you because you're like, okay, they're just retelling me the same thing again, regurgitating the story from IMDb. It just never really makes sense to me, and it really, really irritates me. It just isn't really a review then, is it? Because if a third of your runtime is the plot synopsis, you're not really making a review, you're just making a video essay about the film. There's nothing wrong with video essays, but I feel like if your video essay is just looped clips of the trailer over and over and over again, and then it changes every 15 seconds so people don't lose interest, with some memes scattered in again to stop people losing interest, it's not really a review, is it? It's just kind of trash. And I don't understand how they get so many views on this kind of stuff. So anyway, here's the Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring plot synopsis, and what I'll do at the end is I'll just add 2 sentences that sum up the film, so let's get straight into it. Oh, by the way, this is just straight from the IMDb website. I'll put the little screenshots up on screen just so you can follow along. In fact, actually, no, scrap that. I'll just do some looped videos from the trailer of the film so I don't get copyright striked. Oh, and I won't put any credit in the description, even though I'm kind of guilty of that myself. But anyway. Galadriel shows the Dark Lord Sauron forging the One Ring, which he can use to conquer the lands of Middle-earth through his enslavement of the bearers of the Rings of Power. Powerful magical rings given to individuals from the race of elves, dwarves, and men. A last alliance of elves and men is formed to counter Sauron and his forces at the foot of Mount Doom, but Sauron himself appears to kill Elendil, the High King of Andor and Gondor, and Gil-galad, High King of the Noldor. Just afterwards, Elendil's son Isildur grabs his father's broken sword, Narsil, and slashes at Sauron's hand. The stroke cuts off Sauron's fingers, separating him from the ring and vanquishing his army. However, Sauron's life is bound to the ring. He is not completely defeated until the ring itself is destroyed. Isildur takes the ring and succumbs to its temptation, refusing to destroy it, but he is later ambushed and killed by orcs, and the ring is lost in the river into which Isildur fell. The ring is found 2,500 years later, and eventually it comes to the creature Gollum, a wretched hobbit-like creature whose mind was poisoned by the ring after burying it for 500 years, who takes it to underground for 5 centuries, giving Gollum unnaturally long life. The ring leaves him, however, and is found by the hobbit Bilbo Baggins, much to the grief of Gollum. Bilbo returns to his home in the Shire with the ring, and the story jumps forward in time 60 years. At his 111th birthday, Bilbo leaves the ring to his nephew and adopted heir Frodo Baggins. The wizard Gandalf investigates the ring, discovers its true nature, and learns that Gollum was captured and brutally tortured by Sauron's orcs, revealing 2 words during his interrogation: Shire and Baggins. Gandalf returns and warns Frodo to leave the Shire. Frodo departs with his friend Gardener Sam to Bree, with plans to meet him there after Gandalf goes to Isengard to meet the head of the Order, Saruman. Saruman reveals that the Nazgul or Ringwraiths have left Mordor to capture and kill whoever carries it, having already turned to Sauron's case. He then imprisons Gandalf atop of Orthanc. Frodo and Sam are soon joined by fellow hobbits Merry and Pippin. After encountering a Ringwraith on the road, they manage to reach Bree, and there they meet a man called Strider, who agrees to lead them to Rivendell. They agree only because Gandalf isn't there to guide them. After some travelling, they spend the night on the hill of Weathertop, where they are attacked by the Nazgul at night. Strider fights off the Ringwraiths, but Frodo is grievously wounded with a Morgul blade, and they must quickly get him to Rivendell for healing. While chased by the Nazgul, Frodo is taken by the elf Arwen to the elvish haven of Rivendell and healed by her father Elrond. In Rivendell, Frodo meets Gandalf, who explains why he didn't meet them at Bree as planned. In the meantime, there are many meetings between various peoples, and Elrond calls a council to decide what should be done with the ring. The ring can only be destroyed by throwing into the fires of Mount Doom where it was forged. Mount Doom is located in Mordor, near Sauron's fortress of Barad-dûr, and will be an incredibly dangerous journey. Frodo volunteers to take the ring to Mount Doom, as all the others argue about who should or shouldn't take it. He is accompanied by his hobbit friends and Gandalf, as well as Strider, who is revealed to be Aragorn, the rightful heir to the throne of Gondor. Bilbo, now leaving in Rivendell, gives Frodo his sword Sting and a chainmail shirt made of mithril. Also travelling with them are the elf Legolas, the dwarf Gimli, and Boromir, and the son of the steward of Gondor. Together they comprise the Fellowship of the Ring. The Fellowship set out and try to pass the mountains Caradhras, but they are stopped by Saruman's wizardry. They are forced to travel under the mountain through the mines of Moria, where a tentacle water piece blocks off the entrance with the Fellowship inside, giving them no choice but to journey to the exit on the other end. After journeying part way through the mines, Pippin accidentally gives away their presents to a band of orcs. The Fellowship then encounter a Balrog, an ancient demon of fire and shadow, at the bridge of Khazad-dûm. While the others escape, Gandalf fends off the Balrog and casts it into a vast chasm, but the Balrog drags Gandalf down into the darkness with him. The group flees to the elvish realm of Lothlorien, where they are sheltered by its rulers Galadriel and her husband Celeborn. Galadriel privately informs Frodo that only he can complete the quest and that one of the Fellowship will try to take the ring. She also shows him a vision of the future in which Sauron succeeds in enslaving Middle-earth, including the Shire. Meanwhile, Saruman creates an army of Uruk-hai and Isengard to find and kill the Fellowship. After resting, they decide to travel on the river Anduin towards Parth Galen. Before they leave, Galadriel gives Frodo the Phial of Galadriel. After landing at Parth Galen, Boromir tries to take the ring from Frodo, who manages to escape by putting the ring on his finger and vanishing. Knowing that the ring's temptation will be too strong for the Fellowship, Frodo decides to leave them and go to Mordor alone. Meanwhile, the rest of the Fellowship are attacked by Uruk-hai. Merry and Pippin, realising that Frodo is leaving, distract the orcs, allowing Frodo to escape. Boromir rushes to the aid of the 2 hobbits, but is mortally wounded by the orc commander Lurtz, and Merry and Pippin are captured. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli find Boromir, who regrets attempting to steal the ring and dies. Fearing the ring will corrupt his friends, Frodo decides to travel to Mordor alone, but allows Sam to come along, recalling his promise to Gandalf to look after him. As Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli set out to rescue Merry and Pippin, Frodo and Sam make their way down the pass of Emyn journeying on to Mordor. So that's pretty much the plot, because usually that's what we do, so I apologise if I butchered any of the names to all you Tolkien fans out there. I'm not very good at remembering all of them. So anyway, the film is really good, the cinematography is really good, the music is amazing, literally everything about this film is just fantastic from start to finish. You should really go and watch it instead of watching my review of it. Anyway, with that, I want to thank you very much for watching, and if you made it this far, please make sure you subscribe. See you in the next video.